No tak jo, borky, náš další den, kdy hrajeme Hogwarts Legacy, tentokrát hrajeme za Havraspár, máme tady Kubovo holku, se kterou dneska budeme pokračovat, uvidíme, co za dobrodružství a za úlety a kouzla čáry z ní zase dneska uvidíme. Máme takový předvánoční čas, takže se docela hodí zahrát si Hogwarts Legacy. Doufám, že to bude fajn a že nás to bude bavit. A že u toho hlavně vydržíme dlouho. Každopádně toto je podruhé, co tuhle hru hrajem a moc se na ní těším. Fakt se nemůžu dočkat, co nás zase čeká. Uvidíme, no. Doufám, že se nám to ještě dneska načte.
And here we are. Quite the time saver. These stairs lead directly to Central Hall. You can get almost anywhere in the castle quickly from Central Hall.
OK. Odsaď se dostaneme kamkoliv rychle, jo?
Always something happening here. It's the heart of the hive. Our King's Cross station. Revelio.
Think.
That should be all for now. You'll be expected to attend both Charms and Defense Against the Dark Arts classes today. And I'd like to be sure you get to Hogsmeade as soon as possible to replace the supplies you lost on the way here.
Děkuji, paní profesorko.
What will we learn in Charms class?
Exactly what you might expect. Spells,
Kouzla,
charms,
čáry,
uses, all
začarování.
terribly useful.
Oh yeah,
I'll
to se
think you'll
dneska
enjoy
všechno
Professor
naučíme.
Rowan. He's a clever and entertaining wizard and a talented teacher.
Can you tell me more about the Defense Against the Dark Arts class?
Defense Against the Dark Arts, as the name implies, focuses on how to defend oneself against the evils that lurk beyond these walls. A mastery of Defense Against the Dark Arts is required for those who aspire to become Aurors. Fortunately, we are lucky to have the ever-gifted Professor Hecat in charge of our students' education in that regard.
You mentioned Hogsmeade, Professor.
Hogsmeade is the only all-wizarding village in Britain and is home to an array of shops and pubs. You should be able to find all of the school supplies you require in Hogsmeade. You will also, I imagine, enjoy many a butterbeer there with friends in due course.
Děkuji, paní profesorko.
Thank you, Professor Weasley.
A lot to absorb on your first day, and you have much to learn. Happily, your professors have agreed to create additional assignments for you outside of class. You'll be up to speed in no time. Judging by your adept use of Revelio earlier, I'd say Professor Fig succeeded in at least showing you the basics.
He did, Professor.
He's been terribly vague as to the events preceding your arrival, specifically about what happened after that awful dragon attack. My suspicion is that there's more to the story than a search for belongings and an extended trip up to the castle.
We did take a bit of a detour on the way here. Ended up exploring some ruins and... I shouldn't say more.
Exploring ruins? Well, I presume Professor Fig has his reasons for keeping the details to himself for now. Speak of the devil, Professor Fig. Your ears must have been burning.
Oh?
Yes. You seem to have provided our new fifth year with a solid foundation in the basics of spellcasting.
Ah, I'm afraid I can't take all the credit there, Professor. They've a rare aptitude for magic, it seems.
Well, I'm just glad you both arrived in one piece. Perfectly good boats and carriages to Hogwarts, and you chose to fly in the path of a dragon.
I wouldn't say I chose the dragon's path, Professor. Rather unfortunately, it would seem that it chose us.
Very well. Enough chit-chat. I need to get to class myself. Might I rely on you, Professor Fig, to explain the details of the field guide's map?
Of course.
Thank you. Good luck today, and remember to use your field guide. It will be invaluable to you, and invaluable to me, as I'll be using it to keep up to date on your progress.
Yes, Professor.
Come and find me in my classroom after you've attended both classes today, and I'll explain more about those assignments I mentioned. And we'll see if we can't get you to Hogsmeade for those supplies.
Okay.
It's good to see you, Professor.
And you. I was hoping our paths would cross today, before you immersed yourself in studies. Did I hear you and Professor Weasley talking about exploring ruins?
She caught me off guard. I didn't tell her anything else about our travels here. I will say, I think she suspects we're not being entirely forthcoming.
Yes, well, Professor Weasley is a brilliant and astute witch. It was right to keep the details to yourself for now. We don't know where this path we've embarked upon will lead. It may require a bit more flexibility with your time than she would approve of. And she may feel obliged to share details with the headmaster that would be better left between us.
Understood, Professor.
Good. Now, as capable as you are, I believe the ability you possess obliges you to be well trained. Happily, you have the benefit of an exceptionally skilled team of witches and wizards to guide you. Speaking of guides, and so that I may avoid another not-so-subtle reproof from Professor Weasley, why don't I show you the clever enchantment we included in the field guide's map? Unfold it and have a look.
Podívat do mapy. Okay. Když se budeme naučit Accio a Leviosa. Umíme ty kouzla. To bude hodit.
The map is enchanted to help you find your way.
This will be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Now, sounds like you've quite a day ahead, what with classes and a trip to Hogsmeade for supplies, including your own wand. You'll enjoy Mr. Ollivander. He's an exceptional craftsman and a good friend. I shall reach out when I have more information about our mysterious locket. For now, focus on your classes and pay attention. More than your owls may hinge on the magic you are able to master within these walls.
Okay.
Revelio.
People who post
Co je? Tána. Ještě nepřivolám, co? Tak se jdeme naučit ty kouzla. Accio a Leviosa. Tady to nejde. Nebo se to načítá. Jen, jsem tu správně v Bradavicích. Čus Marloku. Čau, 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 vítej. Už máš tu hru tak rozmazanou, měl by si... Jde ti zvýšit grafiku. Jde. Taky mě to překvapilo, no.
Professor Hecat.
Perhaps you'd be good enough to blast each other to
Já
pieces.
to hraju na ultra, taky mě to překvapilo, že jsi to ještě nenačetlo.
But I only have one Hebridean black skull. It was a token from the great poacher raid of 1878. No doubt you've heard of it. Now, you may be asking yourself how an old woman like me single-handedly took out the largest poacher ring in eastern Wales and lived to boast about it. Knowledge. To the wise, age matters very little. Today we will review a spell that has saved me from death
Jsi ožralý? Ne, nejsem.
more times than I care to remember.
Nejsem.
Levioso.
Levioso? A levitation charm?
Levioso! A surprised opponent is a weak opponent. Care to defend yourself, Master Pruitt? No? One thing I've learned as an unspeakable is the value of simplicity. especially in the heat of battle. Now, let's practice what we've just learned, starting with something small.
Tak, naučíme se Leviosa. Dobré.
Levioso.
Now, let's try something a little larger.
Dneska se nebude chlastat? Nebude, já dneska nepiju, neboj. Dneska tady chci hrát dlouho kouzelníky.
Let us begin.
Proč ne? Protože nechci chlastat každý den.
See how the dummy deflected your cast. This time, cast Levioso first, then the basic cast. Remember, a surprise go. Now, the basic cast.
Vypadá, že kdybys měsíc nespal.
Well done. Very good, but the best way to practice is by dueling. We'll start with you two. Duelists, take your marks.
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
Now, I want a fair duel, using only Levioso, basic cast, and Protego.
Já bych to už podruhý nehrál, já mám rád Harryho Pottera, já jsem Potterhead. Já jsem četl všechny knížky a viděl všechny filmy.
I know. Nothing lucky about it.
This can't be your first duel.
Let's just say I'm a man.
There you go. First thing.
Levioso.
I'm always students for this adept. I do enjoy a life duel. Use the basic cast when your opponent's guard
Dobrý,
is
tak
down.
já mám rád, to už se mi nechce znova, aha.
Beginner.
Tak se s náma tady můžeš dívat
As
na
good
to,
as you
no.
get.
Já to teď nějaký 14 dní třeba hrát budu. Já nevím, jak dlouho to dohrajem, ale řekl bych, že 14 dní u toho
I
strávíme.
put you on the spot, and you rose to the challenge. Points to Ravenclaw.
Thank you, Professor Hecat. Glad to have the opportunity to practice.
If what I've seen today is any indication, we can expect great things from you. I demand excellence from my students. They are capable of achieving it, and they must achieve it. A classroom duel is one thing, but battling dark wizards, or as ever more likely, goblins, is a different kettle of Grindylows entirely.
Understood, Professor.
So, I'd advise you to keep practicing whenever you can. Perhaps Mr. Sallow will have some ideas for you. Again, well done today. I shall reach out soon with additional assignments. All right, that's enough spectacle for one day. Class is dismissed.
Se Sebastianem.
Nice work.
I enjoyed that.
Sebo.
That duel was quite something. Everyone will be talking about it.
It was certainly good practice.
Practice. It felt more like I was dueling an expert. Sebastian Sallow, by the way. Didn't expect a new student to be so deft with a wand. Then again, perhaps this wasn't your first duel.
I've dueled enough. Consider yourself lucky I held back.
Huh, fair enough. You owe me an honest duel when you ask.
Rozumíš tomu?
You
Mám
know,
češtinu, no.
You might be a
Jsou tam
perfect
titulky
fit for a
český.
certain
Když tam jsou
exclusive,
český titulky.
unsanctioned dueling organization.
Exclusive and unsanctioned. Count me in.
Excellent. Knew I was right about you. If you want to get the most out of your time at Hogwarts, you're going to need to break the rules.
Jo, pochopil. Já umím
Whether it's
anglicky
joining a
docela dobře.
secret dueling club or sneaking into the restricted section of the library, you just have to be clever enough not to get caught.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll
Not
keep
to
that
get
in mind.
good.
Good. Pleasure chatting with you. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Perhaps somewhere unsanctioned? We'll see if your performance today was sheer luck or actual skill. Look for Luke and Brattleby near the clock tower entrance. if you're interested.
Hraj za zmizel? Ne, za Havraspár. Za Havraspár hraju.
Revelio.
Jsem něco slyšel. Děkuji. Děkuji. Je na hodinu kouzel. Asi se budeme učit kouzla, dokud jich nebudeme umět lítání. A pak budeme moct víc prohledávat. Ale cink. Dobré. Levioso. Je pravda, že si odkopl Dory.
Revelio.
O tom nechci mluvit. Tady něco slyším. Něco slyším, ale nevidím.
Revelio.
Toho je. Nic, nebudeme si hrát, jdeme nahoru.
Revelio.
Away from me! It was an accident!
Ale moje první truhla. Dostal jsem lektvar.
Revelio.
Ulož to prej končí, fakt? Kde sleduješ filmy? Mám Netflix. Platím si Netflix. Ulož to končí, jo? Na Netflixu není vše, ale tak nepotřebuješ všechno, viď? Stačí jenom pár filmů. Já nepotřebuju všechno. Spousta filmů je na Netflixu. Tak jdem na tu druhou hodinu. Kde sleduješ třeba něco, co tam není? Nesleduju nic jiného. Já sleduju buď CS Mystery, nevím jestli znáš ten program. Tak tam koukám na dokumenty. A nebo něco na Netflixu. Nic jiného nesleduju. A Twitch sleduju, ale ten je zdarma.
Here. Behind you. There is an
Když je
open
něco v
seat
kině,
here.
co tě zajímá, tak když do kina nejdu. Nechodím do kina a platím si ten Netflix.
I am
Tam
Nettie.
přidávají taky
So
novinky,
you are the new student.
které v kině třeba ani
You met
nejsou.
Professor Ronan yet?
Shall we begin? Welcome to year 5 of charms. Now, this will be
Dlouho jsem nebyl v kině, naposledy jsem byl v kině na Black Widow.
But I am
Od
confident
Marvelu.
that we will take hold
Scarlett
with the passion
Johansson.
and rigor requisite of such a challenge.
Naposledy
Now,
jsem byl na Black
everyone,
Widow v
please
kině.
open your textbooks to page 517.
A to už je nějaká
before
doba.
we begin, can anyone here tell me the difference between the incantations of the color change and growth charms? Anyone? Anyone? Hmm? I am afraid it is too late to study now. My, the summer months must have really taken a toll on you all. By the looks of it, you all spent your holidays practicing Obliviate on one another. Do you even remember how to perform a basic summoning charm? Well, it seems that we are in dire need of review. Everyone get into pairs and take positions on opposite sides of the classroom. Now let's put those textbooks to use as the blunt objects you so believe they are, and take turns summoning them out of one another's
Na co se teď díváš na Netflixu? Tak koukám hodně na ty dokumenty o Arnoldovi Schwarzeneggerovi, o Sylvester Stallonem, Johnny Depp, tak. Teď koukám na Squid Game, vyšla reality show.
That is not bad.
You are a swift learner. I see a lot of potential, but remember, potential is nothing without practice.
Sračka, je to jak kdyby to dělal nějaký youtuber, to video, no, mi přijde. Že Mr. Beast by udělal lepší. Tady je to akorát protažený na 10 dílů.
That we might have ourselves a little excursion outside for a spot of fresh air. After me. I've always found that fun goes hand in hand with mastery, as I'm sure the Quidditch players amongst us would agree. So, what better than a bit of sport to put our prowess with the summoning charm to the test?
Vyvolávací kouzlo. Jistý.
So why don't we have our newest student start us off?
Já začínám, jo? Tak jo.
Very simply, cast Accio on one of the spheres and relinquish your... Splendid! Don't lose. Now, think of this like... That's it!
Uj.
Excellent control there. Very good. Points to Ravenclaw.
Points to Ravenclaw. Díky, to jsem nečekal.
Miss Onai, would you care to give our new student a bit of a challenge? Come on up. You'll be the blues.
Takže proti mojí kolegyni nebyl víru, jo?
Clear?
Yes, sir.
OK, Kubová holka říká ano, pane, tak je to jasný. Kdo začíná?
Here we go.
OK. No. Hezký.
That is how it's done.
Zapade, jo? Mám lepší plán.
I will get you back for that. We shall.
Mám pade já. Žádný pade nebude. Padlej tam, no. Ale furt nám pade. Yes! 30 si nech. 30 ti nechám na caj. Vezmu si k tomu pár bodíků ještě já. Tak nevezmu. Ale vyhrál jsem. Kult vyvolávače. Vyhrál jsem na body. Žádný technický KO. Nebylo. Cože, znova?
I think we are well past interesting at this point.
Ody tam jezdí krabice.
I'll say.
Enough chatter. Focus now. You will need it. This round settles it all.
Here we go.
There we go.
Kubová holka. Počkej. Teď je můj tah.
Do not think I will start going easy.
Kubovo vyhrálo. Kubova holka. Točí. Dobrý. Dobrý. Pade. Já taky zapade. To je blázinec. No, no. Chtěl jsem se toho zbavit.
Let us see this.
Už se dostala docela daleko. No 60. Mně stačí 10. 20. Ale to neschoď. Kubíku.
Well done.
Kilečko. Kubova holka vyhrála.
Very good, both of you. Well done.
Well done. Kubova holka vyhrála.
Class is dismissed. Gather your things on the way out.
Good game back there. I must admit, I think I underestimated you. Took me weeks to become proficient with Accio. Took weeks for me to get anything right when I transferred here. It gets easier, I promise.
That's good to hear. It's a lot to take in all at once.
To put it lightly, I remember how I felt when I first arrived. I transferred here from Ouagadougou just before my 4th year. My mother received an offer to teach divination here. Before I knew it, we had left Uganda and were halfway around the world at a new school in a new country.
Is Ouagadougou much bigger than Hogwarts?
Ouagadougou School of Magic is the largest wizarding school in the world. So yes, bigger than Hogwarts. But it never seemed intimidating or overwhelming to me. It always felt like home.
Is Ouagadougou a castle like Hogwarts?
Its address is Mountains of the Moon. It is not so much a castle as a beautiful edifice carved out of the mountainside. I remember the first time I saw it, the mist was so thick I could hardly make out anything at all. And then it just materialized before me, this enormous school that seemed to be floating in midair.
This may seem an odd question, but is magic the same there as it is here?
Mostly, yes. But I did have to learn how to use a wand when I arrived here. Hardly anyone at Ouagadougou uses one.
You can cast spells without a wand?
Oh, yes. I find wandless magic to be much more instinctive. Not to mention quite convenient if one is without their wand. I must admit, however, that I am growing quite fond of using a wand. It seems very dramatic.
It's nice to learn about another wizarding school.
Tak jo, dáme si chvilku pauzičku.
I do miss
a budeme pokračovat za momentík.
Here at Hogwarts. Ah, I think Professor Ronan wants to talk to you. Better not keep him waiting. Until next time.
Until next time.
Of course, you can use